How's it going, everybody? Your favorite hockey coaches are back. I am Henry Hill, and there's my good mate over there.
Coach Logan Myers, I'm happy to be back with you.
Happy to be back with you. And we're talking more Disney Mighty Ducks game changers. We have 3 episodes to go over tonight. It's been a few weeks, and a lot has happened on the show. We have episode 4, we're going to start out with, which the title of that is
Hockey Moms.
Hockey Moms.
Pretty much the setup of the episode. We have Sophie. She's going to be going from the Mighty Ducks to the Don't Bothers. And it really sets up the whole point of the Hockey Moms skill challenge. They have like a shootout competition between the Mighty Ducks moms and the Don't Bothers moms with Alex. And basically the setup of that is, if the Don't Bothers win, Sophie will go to the Don't Bothers. If Mighty Ducks mom wins, she'll stay in the team.
It's a cute little episode with the moms out there, going for glory. We see Alex, who doesn't really know anything about being on the ice or anything. I mean, she's a skater, but she doesn't know anything about hockey. So she's learning, and it sets up some nice moments between her and Coach Bombay, where they get to flirt out on the ice.
Yeah.
Which is, these episodes are really setting up the relationship between the two of them. You can see them starting to get closer together. And this one, he's out there doing what old Coach Crandall used to do in PE with us, help guide the shots and stuff, get up real close and make sure she's got the proper swing.
Helping her, showing her the correct techniques out there in the ice. They run into Alex's boss, which she's like a lawyer, but her and Gordon Bombay run into that lady, and they end up having dinner, which kind of sparks a conversation about the skills challenge.
Sophie is really in a little dilemma here. Her heart is saying to go with the Don't Bothers. She really likes Alex and is friends with most of the kids on the team, but at the same time, she's always been more academic focused. And she knows that in the long run, being on the Ducks is going to give her more prestige and probably get her farther within her academic and sporting career. But she knows that the right thing to do is to join the Ducks. And the matter really isn't with her anymore. She makes the decision that she wants to go to the Don't Bothers, but it's really with her parents. She doesn't want to let them down. They've been paying for her hockey all her life. She's a Duck. They've won all these state championships, and now she wants to switch teams to like the worst team in the league. It's not going to be an easy sell to sell to her parents.
Parents are like probably rich and established in life. They don't want, their smart kid that's doing really well in school to be on a loser team. It makes them look bad. They want their daughter to probably go to some prestigious college, even though they're like 12 years old. Parents in the show are talking about college, and they're like, which is funny, but yeah, they don't want Sophie on a bad team. That at this point, the Don't Bothers haven't won a game yet, so they're like pushing Sophie to stay in the Ducks just for her future and career.
This show really shows us this generation and like how different it is from ours, because I remember at that age, the farthest thing from my mind was like college. It seemed so far away. I was in the moment. I was playing with my friends, hanging out. I didn't want to think about being an adult or anything like that. And then, today's generation with all the social media and everything, how technology is advanced and how schooling is, it's so competitive that, kids today have to start early, like, making sure that they get all their grades in order, all their credits, make sure that all the classes that they're going to take are going to line up with their future careers. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I mean, I had some ideas. I had like 5 different things I wanted to do. There was no way I was going to narrow it down to one. So yeah, it goes to show you the generational difference. These are the kids of today. And I guess these are the new parents of today, pushing their kids. And that can backfire in the long run. So by the end of the episode, she's able to, show to her parents that, going over to the Don't Bothers is a good thing to do. It might not be the best. It might not look the best on her transcripts and her resume and all that, but she's going to be one of the better players there. So she's, her points and her goals and all that, her stats will go up. So at least she has that, and she'll be with a bunch of people that are good people and not just striving to win at all costs and be a bunch of assholes on the ice.
Another aspect of this episode, with being the mom skills challenge is really cool. Alex really does win the challenge, but the other lady, ends up, like in all the movies and TV shows, the bad guys always win and they have to come back.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the case here. And then we have, Evan and his friend Nick being the young podcaster. It's really funny in the show. They have a sleepover and they invite the goalie over, Coob, which is like the new Goldberg. But they kind of form a relationship with Coob. He's kind of the outcast, quiet guy, but they had a really good time at the sleepover. It reminds me of being, a 12-year-old kid hanging out with your buddies, drinking Mountain Dew and playing video games.
There was always the quiet kid in the group that would sort of come out of their shell, when you invited them over, come to your house, have a sleepover. It was a good time. That's Coob in this. He's kind of like the quiet gamer. He usually stays home. He doesn't go out and socialize, but he's coming around with the don't bothers and with Evan. Yeah, it was a pretty cool scene, especially with all the kids having cell phones these days too. It's like totally different from when we grew up and didn't have anything like that.
Right.
Still had landlines. So all these kids are like reaching for their cell phones like we are as adults.
It definitely has a lot of heart in this episode. I thought it was pretty cool. The skill challenge. There's a dinner scene between the four parents, or Alex and Gordon and the Mighty Ducks parents, and it was pretty funny. There's some comedic bits in there. Emilio Estevez always bringing in the comedy in this show.
Yeah.
Unintentionally, he's really funny.
He's been really funny this season. I like how he's slowly coming around, becoming the old Coach Bombay we know. Slowly but surely. I like how cranky he is and sort of how he's reluctant to go back in it after he's been screwed over multiple times throughout the films and, within the break between the show and the films and everything. But it's cool to see him and then see him, with Evan's mom, Alex, and, see him take her under his wing and sort of show her how to coach and everything. That's been cool to see too. Yeah. So you see this relationship between them blossoming, not only on the ice, but they're having a personal relationship too. And that'll carry on into the next episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a really good time with this episode. They're setting up the rest of the season, really forming some relationship and bonds in this episode as well. I like the challenge, seeing the moms playing some hockey. They're trying to hit the puck as fast as they can, 35 miles per hour. Training for this scene.
Real intense with the speedometer and everything. They're trying to hit at the specific speed.
Yep, exactly. Great dinner scene, and also great scene with the kids having a sleepover. Again, just setting up the rest of the season. There's some good storytelling here, good character development. Really focus on Sophie too, which team she'll be going to. But with that being said, I'm going to give Hockey Moms episode 4 a 3.5 out of 5 mom hair pieces.
Woo! We're really in tune. We feel the same way. I mean, a lot of the things that you just mentioned, the same for me. I felt the same way. It's setting up relationships, getting us to know these kids a little better, and setting up the relationship between Alex and Gordon. So far, Evan and Sophie have been the main stars of the show, and they get to shine in this episode. We get to see more from Coob, the new Goldberg, which is pretty funny. I mean, he's the same body shape and everything. So yeah, you can definitely see where they're going. And some of the other kids, they're coming around on me too. Everybody has a different personality. I like Nick, the podcaster. He's always like the comedic relief, kind of the nerdy kid, but he always has some he's wise beyond his years. He always has some wisdom to drop on the team. So I can see him being one of the captains ultimately for this team. But I liked what I saw here. It's setting it up. I'm also going to give this episode a 3.5 out of 5 Coob hair pieces.
So leading into the next episode 5, we're going to be talking about cherry pickers and the
cherry pickers.
She's my cherry pie.
Cherry pie. Cool drink of water. Sweet surprise. Whoops, that went a little too far there.
Cherry Pickers episode 5. We have the Don't Bothers 0-5 at this point. Not looking too good for this team thus far, but it's not really about winning. It's about friendships and learning how to play as a team and all that. It's not about winning, like
all that nonsense. It's about winning. Let's face it.
It's about fun. It's about having fun.
Yeah.
Alex is putting an imprint in these kids' brains. It's not about winning. It's about fun. So with that being said, this episode we get to see Evan's dad finally show up. We thought it was going to be Charlie Conway, Joshua Jackson, but we were incorrect. It's some other middle-aged rock star guy that seems like an uncle in a lot of TV shows and movies that shows up and likes to relive his glory days.
Glory days. Yeah, he's a handsome middle-ager, 45-year-old guy. Still got a full head of hair. Apparently he's he's in a rock band. He tours around the country. He's not around Evan much. So when he does come into town, Evan's at the age where he looks up to his dad, obviously, especially with his dad being a musician and stuff. So when he does come into town, he gets all the glory. Evan loves seeing him and everything. And, Alex is always there. She's kind of old news at this point, even though she's taking care of him every day. But he's the cool dad, but he's not always there. Evan's going to have a hockey game and he really wants his dad to be there to see him play hockey. So he's going to put his best foot forward and, really play his heart out in the game that finishes up this episode.
And then we get some great scenes, obviously with the introduction of Rob being Evan's dad, meeting Coach Bombay, Gordon Bombay, because he's kind of the love interest, him and Alex, and Alex's ex, always sets up some sort of conflict, but didn't really turn out that way. They ended up going out to watch Rob's band play, and Gordon went and Evan went and had a good time. They ended up having a wing competition, how many wings they could eat. Looked like indigestion waiting to happen.
Jeez, yeah.
But again, setting up some really comedic scenes in this episode, just like them hanging out. The boys are hanging out, eating some wings, drinking some water, not beer. That's up a pretty good scene. You can see Gordon and Rob, actually liking each other, being, friends.
It could have been the cliche scenes where Coach Bombay and Rob hated each other, and Bombay was, obviously he's maybe not trying to get with Alex at this point, but it's leaning towards that way. He likes her, that's for sure. It could have turned out where, he was trying to keep him away from her and everything, but he actually came around to like and understand. He obviously can sympathize with it. Coach Bombay hasn't always been able to be there for the Ducks throughout the movies. He has his ups and downs. Things happen in his career where he had to step away from the Ducks, but he always came back. So he's hoping that, for the same with Rob, he hopes that Rob will stick around more and be there for Evan, because he knows how important it is, for the father to, spend time with the kids. So yeah, those scenes were cool with the three of them hanging out. And, towards the end of the episode, Coach Bombay is supposed to be giving him a ride back to the airport for him to go to his next gig. But it doesn't turn out that way.
Yeah, they end up going to watch Evan's game. So he can be a supportive.
He's like, hey, where are you taking me? The airport's back there.
He's like, I need to go play a college gig in Milwaukee to 3 people. It's more important than my kid's game.
Right. I don't have time. I have to go now.
Yeah. So
like he's playing an arena.
Yeah, they go to watch Evan's game. The Don't Bothers. Evan tears it up. They get their first W, first win of the season against the Hawks. So they're now 1-5.
The big first win.
Yeah, which sparks some interest of some rival teams in the next episode. But you really see Evan as the star of the team, the heart of the Don't Bothers. It's going to set him up in a pretty weird predicament and situation in the next episode. Another aspect of this episode 5, there's a relationship between Maya. She's like the popular girl from New York, and Lauren's like this cosplayer. They become friends. They have like a TikTok video. But I thought that was pretty good and sincere.
Yeah, it was cool seeing them come together. Obviously, 2 different kind of personalities and everything, but they came around to like each other and understand each other. That was cool. With the whole, they're incorporating all this generation stuff, TikTok, all the social media. Yeah, it feels authentic. I mean, probably a pretty authentic look at how school is, in these times. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been to school, so
yeah, been a while. But with that being said, Cherry Picker was yet another great episode, setting up for episode 6, my favorite episode of the season thus far. But I really had a great time with the introduction of Evan's dad. We thought it was going to be somebody completely different. Charlie Conway, we were incorrect, and we got Robin said and set up some really great scenes in this episode at the concert venue, or just hanging out, eating some food and wings, and also showing a few other characters that didn't have much screen time this far, and they're really great too. So that being said, Cherry Picker, I'm going to give it another 3.5 out of 5 cherry hair pieces.
Let's not forget to mention at the end when Coach Bombay paid Alex a visit and he brought over that pecan pie to share. Meow. Meow. I think it was pecan pie. It could have been another kind of pie. I'm not sure.
Pecan pie.
Yeah. I'm sure it was sweet. It was a sweet pecan pie.
Oh, they both got some dessert, huh?
So yeah, to end the episode, they're all three of them were sharing the slice of pie that Coach Bombay. So they're getting to be close. The three of them, he's coming over to the house now to chill. So he's slowly becoming part of the family, really. I mean, and then moving into the next episode, we'll see this go even more. So yeah, I had a great time with this episode. I liked all the stuff with the three of them, with Evan, Coach Bombay, and Uncle Rob there when they went out. Uncle Rob wasn't all a bad guy. He's just that's what he does. He's a musician. He's on the road a lot. He can't be there all the time. But that was nice that Coach Bombay, kind of talked him into, actually forced him, but he came around and he wanted to be there, and he saw Evan play hockey. So now he's invested. So we'll see if he shows up again or if he's just going to be MIA the rest of the series. But it was cool seeing that side of Coach Bombay willing to give him a chance, and everything. So, and Evan was really happy about that. So yeah, with all that said, it's going to lead into the next episode, my favorite as well. This was another, I'd say 3.5 out of 5 hairpiece episode for me. Cherry pickers, Mighty Ducks, game changers. All of them have been pretty solid as of yet. And moving into this next episode 6, which is titled "The Spirit of the Ducks." And this was the one we were waiting for. We get some of the old Mighty Ducks back, and there they are, right behind you.
We've been hyping this up and been talking about this for like 6 months, the return of the original Mighty Ducks. Well, some of them, not all of them. But we do see the return of Fulton Reed. Oh,
Fulton.
Half of the Bash Brothers is back. Adam Banks.
Yeah. Cake
Eater himself. Guy Germain. We got Guy Germain, Connie Moreau, Les Averman, Ken Wu, and Ken Wu from the second movie, which is kind of weird because he was an original Duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Team America with Ducks.
Right.
But yeah, it was cool seeing all of them returning. Basically, Coach Bombay runs into Fulton Reed. He's a construction worker. Yeah, I don't know what he like broke the window in his truck.
A brick hits the car or something.
Oh, it's a brick. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
He has a knack for breaking windows.
Yeah.
But he goes out to yell at the construction worker, and he's like, Fulton Reed, He's like, oh my God, Coach Bombay, I haven't seen you in years. So
big hug. Fulton, hey.
Yeah, he's all big.
Yeah, he's bigger than Bombay now.
He's like, hey, by the way, they're having this 25th anniversary for the Ducks tomorrow night. We're all getting together tonight to grab food and drinks. You should meet up with us. And that's kind of how the old Ducks come into play here in this episode.
It was a very cool scene setting that up. Yeah, there's going to be this gala for the Ducks. They're going to bring back all the old people, all the old players and coaches from the past in a celebration of this team that's, turned into the successful franchise of winning all these state championships. And they're going to pay respect to the past. And they're bringing back these, old Ducks that Coach Bombay coached. So, yep, he meets up with Fulton and they're going to plan this dinner. So they ended up going to dinner, and I don't know, for some reason, him going into the diner there reminded me of St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, it did. Totally did.
Because Emilio's in there. Yeah, I got that kind of vibe. So he walks in and he sees all the other players. He sees Connie and all the other boys there, Wu, and they all share some, a few stories from the original series. There's some pictures up on the wall that they see, and they're looking at there. Yeah. That reminds them of their past glory.
Yeah, and basically they're all catching up. Like, what have you been doing? What are you doing with your life? You find out Banks is like a public defender, kind of like how Gordon was in the first movie. You have Guy and Connie are married. She's like a state senator or something like that,
And he just takes care of the kids. He's like, I just hang out and take care of the kids.
We have 7 kids. She's like, no, we have 3. But it feels like 7. Yeah. It's pretty funny. They look great. Yeah. I mean, all of them look good. Coming back 30 years ago, almost.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then you have Averman as a limo driver.
He said something in the diner, I can't remember, but he was acting goofy like he did in the first movie. I remember that when he had, he was the smaller kid with the curly hair, always cracking jokes. But you can definitely tell it's him with the glasses still. Yeah. Shorter hair, obviously, and the beard now. But yep, you can definitely tell it's most of these kids. Banks, he seems he's obviously older now, less douchey than when he first showed up with the Ducks in the first movie. He came over from the other team and was sort of a snob, thanks to probably his dad, because his dad seemed like that. But eventually he became one of the Ducks and came around. He's real tall now. He's probably like, looks like he's, I don't know, 6'3" at least. So everybody's grown up. They look pretty tall.
He's bigger than
Everybody looks
Fulton.
good. Yeah,
You
Fulton's
see the
big.
picture behind it, me. Yeah, Adam
Yeah.
Banks is tall. He's a big guy.
Basically, they have this dinner and they're talking about this gala that's going on, and they're like, "Well, Coach Bombay, you're going to be there, right?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, he's interested in going for sure." But he's like, "Oh, I don't ever check my mail. I'm sure the invitation's probably somewhere there."
That's a part of the episode where he's back at the office. He has like all this mail from like 30 years. Not 30,
all these bills, all these late bill notices.
Yeah, and we find out that he really didn't get invited to the 25th gala for the Ducks, so he's kind of upset about that, and sets up the scene with the Ducks at the table, and he kind of gets pissed off and takes off, but he's really hurt because he didn't get invited to the celebration. The whole reason the Ducks are around is because of the miracle man himself from Minnesota, Coach Gordon Bombay. How could they do this to him, huh?
I know, they really did him dirty. Should be the number one. He should be the highlight of the whole thing, and he wasn't even invited. Man, they really did him dirty. Coach Bombay always gets the short end of the stick, and then he ends up leaving because he's hurt, and then in turn the kids think he's abandoning them when he's not.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, typical Bombay. Charlie told us about this. They name drop Charlie Conway too. So there's another hint that we're going to see him eventually, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think this season, as we were talking about earlier, online today, that due to the pandemic, Joshua Jackson couldn't do the series. So he's definitely not coming back. Maybe next season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm like, just this one episode bringing back these Ducks, I thought it was really great. I felt fulfilled, you know what I mean? And they name dropped Charlie Conway, and he's coming back eventually, and I'm sure his arc's going to be awesome.
I love this episode. I loved how it brought back the old Ducks, but it also had the feel of the movies, I thought, especially the first one. And that's probably mostly due to being written and directed by the guy that wrote the original movies, Steve Brill. He came back for this episode. So yeah, it has all the watermarks of that original, and it felt close. It felt the closest episode to the original movies. So I was very happy with this episode. It was cool, obviously, to see all the old Ducks, and just the story was cool. How they brought them back and had this gala to bring them back. It was a pretty clever way to do it. And eventually, Coach Bombay, he gets to go to he doesn't get to go. He goes to the gala. They're going to bring him in, and even though he wasn't invited, they're going to make it known that Coach Bombay should be the one that's getting the award, not this douchey coach that they have now with a slick back hair. Yeah.
Coach T. He's like every 90s tool bag or douchebag we see in all the movies are like a hockey coach and a slick back hair. And it's funny. They're all trying to praise Coach T, but in reality, they need to praise the miracle man, the guy that started it all, Coach Bombay. And that's what the Ducks kind of do. The original Ducks, they go up on stage and he's the reason all this happened.
They walk up, they form the V in the crowd as they're walking up. Yeah. And they state why Coach Bombay should be the one getting the accolades tonight, not this douche with the cardboard cutout up on the by the podium there where he's going to speak and everything. So yeah, they give this nice speech talking about what he's done, how he's turned their lives around and made them better people, and how he is the true spirit of the Ducks. It's Coach Bombay.
Yep, always has been, always will be. And you can see that Coach Bombay is slowly getting back into the spirit of the Ducks. Spirit of the Ducks. And getting back into the hockey and coaching. So he's going to be a big part of the remaining episodes of the season, being the coach of the Don't Bothers and seeing what happens. But they will be facing off the Ducks against the Ducks one more time.
I loved when he brought the Ducks, the older Ducks there out on the ice to show the Don't Bothers some tricks, and we get that scene where they drive out on the limo on the ice.
Yes.
All the Ducks get out, just like on the first movie when the limo drove out on the pond on the ice. More callbacks to the original movie. They get on the ice and they get out there and they mix it up with the Don't Bothers. We get to see some of the older ducks do what they do best. We see Wu out there doing pirouettes and doing all those slick moves out on the ice. We see some of the ducks, going hard into each other. They're playing harder than they had, they haven't played hockey in a while. So for not playing and all that time, they sure look pretty professional out there, we'll say. So they've retained their skills. And,
they're still in pretty good shape. I thought they did pretty good out there for probably being in their 40s now. Wu looked the best. And that didn't look like a body double. It looked like he was actually doing it. So
I know, yeah.
That's real. That's awesome.
Too.
I'm like, that's awesome.
It did. It looked like him. I mean, there was somebody with the ponytail and the same facial hair, so same body type. So yeah, I thought it was him too. He can move.
Yeah, he can still move and do all those.
Yeah.
I fall off the side here.
Whoa.
Oh, but also in the episode, we had a big part with Evan and Coach T. Evan going to the Ducks to play with them after kicking ass the last episode against the Hawks, scoring a few goals. Coach T's like, yeah, we got an opening on the Ducks. So he's, on the fence about it. Should I stay with the Don't Bothers, go to the Ducks? Which sets up part of the conflict of this episode.
Yeah, we see Evan, he's talking to the Coach T, and he gets him to come. He's like, come on, we saw your game the other day. You're doing great. I should have never cut you. I made a mistake. Why don't you come back to the Ducks? And, Evan's obviously reluctant, but Coach D says, just come to one practice, see how you do. He ends up going to the practice, does really well. And of course, somebody on the team films it. He doesn't, Evan doesn't think that the Don't Bothers are going to know that he went to the practice. But at the end of the episode, the video of him practicing with the Ducks is leaked, and Sophie sees it on the ice and shows the rest of the Don't Bothers, which leads to the conflict. Everybody is disappointed in Evan. How could you do this? How could you go practice with the other team? What, you don't want to be with us anymore? So we're going to see this moving forward. He's going to have to get back in the good graces with the rest of his team and come back and be the captain. Much like Charlie Conway in the beginning, he had his falling out during the whole series. I can't remember which movie, but he had some falling out with the team, and he had to come back and, get them to rally around him again. And once he did, the team flew forward and they did well. So I'm sure we're going to see that in this series as well, once Evan gets back. And now, especially with the Spirit of the Ducks and with Bombay coming there to help coach, which he does. He calls himself the assistant coach in this episode. So there we go. There's our answer. We were wondering how this was going to work at the beginning of the series, and it appears that Coach Bombay is going to take the side role this time. He's going to be the mentor more like it. Alex is still going to be the head coach, but Bombay is going to, obviously tell her everything he knows, all the tricks, help improve the team, and hopefully lead them to the face-off with the Ducks at the end of the season.
Because Ducks fly together. Quack,
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 quack, quack.
As I said a few times in the episode, Ducks fly together. Spirit of the Ducks absolutely is bringing back the old Ducks, kind of pushing Coach Bombay in the right direction. He's been struggling this season, struggling with life, and I think he really needed to get back together and find the reason to love hockey, from the first movie, the reason he did it. So this is a really great episode, the best one so far of this season. Love seeing all these characters return, seeing the conflict with Evan trying to make this decision which team to go with, and setting up the rest of the season with Coach Bombay being the assistant.
He's going to lead this team to glory. He's going to tell them all the tricks, the flying V. He's going to have them go out on the ice and represent. Yeah, it's going to be fun seeing this team get together and actually do well. See Koob out there, stop some goals. See, who's going to see all the different skills that these players are going to be out there, and see Evan obviously go out there as a captain. We'll see how dramatic it gets. The movies, whenever they had the big match at the end, it was always a big game, and it always came down to the wire. So I can't wait to see them improve, and we'll see if they're good enough to face the Ducks this season or not. I don't know how it's going to shape up, but it's going to be pretty awesome seeing Bombay out there on the ice, offering his words of wisdom to the team. And in the next episode, we got a little sneak peek, and we see some more nostalgia from the first movie. Looks like the ice rink, the lights go out or the power goes off or something, so they have to resort to going back out on the pond there, on the frozen pond, to practice.
Okay.
We're going to see some more of that
in
the next one. I can't wait. I had a great time at the episode. It was great seeing all the old Ducks. This one felt very close to the original series. Loved everything here. I loved how they brought them back, the story to bring them back, how they got Coach Bombay. He didn't get invited to this gala, but ultimately he got to go there anyway. And all the old Ducks and all the don't bothers, now they see what Coach Bombay meant to everybody. And that, motivates Bombay. He's all in now. He's going to help coach the don't bothers. And we'll see where it goes from here. I love the episode. For me, I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Mighty Ducks, game changers, hair pieces, the spirit of the Ducks, quack, quack.
I'm going to agree with you. That's my score. I was going to say 4.5 before you did. So again, we're always picking the same score, but this is how our beautiful minds work. Had a great time with this episode. It felt along the lines of the first movie. It just had the heart, the spirit of it, and returning characters. I absolutely loved it. All the nostalgic feels for me from start to finish, and I want more of these characters returning. So I'll give this a 4.5 out of 5. The spirit of the Ducks, head pieces. Quack, quack. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. It was fun to see all these old Ducks out on the ice. We both loved the episode. And can't wait to see where it goes from here. This, was almost a perfect episode. The only thing that would have made it better was like the big dramatic game like we got in the movie. That would have made it a perfect score for me. So really can't complain at all. Loved everything in this. Loved how the old Ducks came back. Hopefully we see more of them moving forward. Maybe in the next season, Charlie Conway comes back and gets even more of the older Ducks back. I'd like to see some of the other characters that we didn't see. Maybe bring back the guy that was from the ranch that was always doing the country stuff with the cowboy boots on. And when they
part 2 and part 3.
Bring that guy back. Bring the guy from the Sandlot back. That'd be cool.
Bring back
bring Keenan.
Goalie too from Man.
Bring back. Yeah, absolutely.
Cat something. She was good.
Yeah, Cat. And maybe even Goldberg. I know he's been struggling, but it would be cool to see him get his life right and get on the right track. And I'm sure they bring him back if he is, in good shape.
Yeah, he's been sober for like a year now. It'd be awesome to see him return.
Yeah,
all the characters.
Absolutely. Maybe he can mentor Coob.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is how you be a goalie. Like always in the other reviews of Mighty Ducks, there's some Easter eggs that we hit on already for this episode. The limousine on the ice being from the first film, them chanting quack, quack, quack. Kenny Wu still skating like a figure skater in the second movie. The restaurant having photos of the original first two movies. Them saying ducks fly together. Adam Banks, they called him Cake Eater in the movies, and then he was calling the parents of the Ducks. I think he was calling them Cake Eaters.
Cake Eaters,
yeah. And then Gordon Bombay is using an old wooden hockey stick while practicing from like the original.
That's right.
There's a bunch of Easter eggs. And then episode 5 and episode 4, there's a few, but not as many as episode 6. So there's a ton in there. So keep your eyes open if you guys haven't seen those.
Episode 6 was full of nostalgia. I love these 3 episodes, especially this last one. Moving forward, we have 4 more to go, I believe. Let's see, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 4 more to go, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll see how the story moves forward from here. This was a pretty good. This was a pretty good segue into these last 4, setting up the Don't Bothers as a team moving forward. They've got a win now behind them, and now they have Bombay, so they have some momentum now moving forward. We'll see if they can keep this going, and we'll see if they can string together all these wins in a row and move on to face the Ducks.
Absolutely, yeah. We got a lot of questions. Not really sure how it's going to end, but pretty sure they're going to go against the Ducks, and it's going to see who's going to be the new state champion. Yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks for the next 2 episode reviews, and then a few weeks after that, the remaining final episodes of season 1, Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Besides that, we got some other videos up on our YouTube channel. Me and this guy have been talking a lot about movies and TV shows, having a great time with it. Tomorrow night, we have a podcast, more interviews, podcast, reviews, and all that fun stuff. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel, website, Cinephellas.com, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
So until the next time, I've got to run. Uncle Steve just placed an order for a beverage.
You grab me a beer, bro.
So until the next time, hockey fans, this has been Uncle Henry Hill.
And Uncle Coach Logan Myers.
We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cake eater.